To keep up with the growing demand from both local and international markets, farmers all over the world have to come up with large-scale methods for harvesting and processing crops, helping to supply millions of tons of produce for the world. Every year, around 60 million tons of mangoes are produced worldwide, making it one of the most popular tropical fruits. Mango trees have a long lifespan, giving farmers a steady source of income over many years. Once established, well-maintained mango orchards can continue to produce high-quality fruit for a long time. Mango trees start bearing fruit after around 6 years. The yield of a mango orchard can range from 3 to 9 tons per acre, with an average of 400 to 600 mangoes per tree. Harvesting is done when one of the mangoes reaches the right size and colour for the market. Mangoes will continue to ripen after being picked, so farmers usually harvest them while they're still green and firm, allowing them to reach distant markets. The best time to harvest mangoes is early in the morning or late in the evening, when the temperature is cooler and the fruit is less likely to get damaged. Farmers use a pole with a net to pick the mangoes, ensuring that they don't fall and bruise. They leave a bit of stem on the fruit, which helps it to stay fresh for longer. Mango trees can grow between 30 to 40 feet tall, making harvesting tricky. Farmers use ladders or equipment to reach the fruit at the very top of the tree. Each mango is picked by hand and placed in trays. All the harvested mangoes are kept in the shade under trees while waiting for transport. Next, farmers load mangoes onto trucks and take them to the packing area. At the packing facility, mangoes are cooled to remove field heat and lower their temperature to the desired level, helping to extend their shelf life. Sorting is done using various tools like mango grading machines, categorize the fruit by size, and other color sensors that measure ripeness. Packing and transporting the mangoes are critical stages, requiring careful handling to avoid reducing the fruit's market value. Stored at a temperature of 9 to 10 degrees Celsius, mangoes can maintain their quality for up to 21 days. Mangoes are a rich source of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber. This valuable fruit is widely exported to international markets, giving farmers the chance to tap into the global trade opportunities. In 2023, global grape production reached 28.4 million tons, with China and the US leading the world. California is famous for its wine and the excitement that comes with harvest season. The warm autumn months bring ideal weather for grape harvesting. By August, the grapes begin to ripen. The most noticeable sign is the color change across the vineyard. Green grapes turn yellow, sometimes even red, while red grapes shift to a deep purple. At this stage, the grapes also increase in size and become softer. Grape harvest typically begins 30 to 70 days after the fruit is set. During this period, we see an increase in sugar content and a decrease in acidity within the fruit. Harvesting begins early in the morning, with workers picking row by row. Most wine grapes are best harvested around 22 to 24 bricks. Hand picking can often yield better results. Skilled workers carefully cut each cluster and place them into containers while removing any sunburned or rotten grapes. Vineyards that opt for hand picking usually prioritize quality over quantity. At the winery, the grapes are separated from the stems and leaves to prevent any bitterness during fermentation. Next comes the crushing process using the mechanical presses. The grapes are then left to rest and fermentation begins within 6 to 12 hours. converting all the sugar into alcohol. In regions with particularly hot climates, farmers often harvest grapes at night. In the cooler conditions, pickers can ensure that all the grapes are at the same temperature. Winemakers in warmer areas typically pick grapes at night to preserve their aroma and prevent spontaneous fermentation. High-quality grapes harvested this way lead to better wine, lower energy costs, and higher efficiency. Farmers start sowing eggplant seeds indoors around 10 weeks before the last frost date. The seedlings will grow when the soil temperature reaches 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Farmers plant them with a maximum spacing of 24 inches between plants and 2 to 3 feet between rows. Eggplants thrive in nutrient-rich, well-drained soil. Mulching can help eggplants grow strong in the spring. Adding bright-coloured straw mulch in the summer helps to reduce heat buildup. Eggplants prefer soil with a pH of 6.5 and need 1 to 2 inches of water each week. Eggplants can be harvested around 70 days after sowing. They can quickly become overripe and bitter, so check them every 1 to 2 days to see if they're ready. Overall, the best time to harvest eggplants is from midsummer onwards, around July to September. When the skin of the eggplant is shiny and smooth, they are ready for harvest. Farmers cut a section of the fruit stem. It's important to handle the eggplants gently during harvest, as they can be easily bruised. Careful selection is crucial to ensure that only the best eggplants move on to the next stage. Once the baskets are full, workers transport them to the sorting area. Here the eggplants are carefully arranged and sorted. Harvesting eggplants can take several days to a few weeks, and regular harvesting helps increase yield. Like cucumbers, eggplants are very sensitive to temperature. When temperatures drop below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, it can damage their texture and flavour. Eggplants can typically be stored for 1 to 2 weeks after harvest, as long as they are kept properly. At processing facilities, eggplants are turned into delicious products. They are cut into bite-sized pieces, seasoned, fried, and combined with sauces to create rich flavours. Watermelon vines spread 6 to 8 feet within 30 days. After 2 months, the first watermelons will appear. Finally, the crop is ready for harvest within around 3 months. Due to varying pollination times, not all watermelons ripen at the same time. As a result, farmers often need to harvest the same field multiple times. One team of workers goes ahead to cut the watermelons from the vines, then turns them over to indicate that they are ready. A second team of workers then collects the cut watermelons from behind. They form a watermelon conveyor line and load the melons onto trucks for packing. Farmers must be extremely careful not to scratch or damage the fruit. To avoid skin abrasions and rot, harvesting is done only in dry weather. After harvesting, farmers place the watermelons with the bottom side down to prevent sunburn. They are carefully placed in trucks lined with soft fabric and dry grass or straw at the bottom. Temperature control between 10 to 16 degrees Celsius helps keep the watermelons in the best conditions and extends their shelf life. Sugarcane farming provides over 19,000 jobs and nearly $4.7 billion annually to the economy. In Southeast Asian countries, sugarcane is grown by local farmers on small plots of land and harvested using traditional methods. Farmers use hand knives or cutting blades for manual harvesting. This requires skilled labour. Improper harvesting can lead to a reduced sugar yield and problems during the milling process. Typically, farmers will harvest a crop every 3 to 5 years. After harvesting, the sugarcane is bundled together. The farmers then transport the bundles to the train. Once the train is fully loaded, it departs for the sugar processing plant. Sugarcane is chopped into smaller pieces before being crushed, then put in large roller mills to extract the juice. The juice is processed to remove impurities through coagulation and sedimentation. This process produces raw sugar by separating sugar crystals from the surrounding molasses. For every 100 tons of sugarcane produced, about 12 tons of sugar are produced. However, most of the sugar is produced from mechanical harvesting. About 50% of the sugarcane in the US comes from Florida. The Florida sugar industry has an annual income of over $800 million, with a total economic value of over $2 billion. Mature sugarcane can grow up to 10 feet tall. Farmers use mechanical harvesters to collect the cane from September until January. Mechanical harvesting reduces the average harvesting time from 32 hours to just 6 to 12. This increased efficiency leads to higher yields and greater profits for farms. While only 4 types of corn are cultivated across all 50 US states, these varieties yield an astonishing 16 products that are part of our daily lives. The US has surpassed China to become the world's top corn producer, with 346.7 million tons in 2023. This is thanks to their advanced farming techniques and machinery. The most familiar type to everyone is probably sweet corn. Renowned for its high sugar content, this imparts a delightful sweetness. Mechanized harvesting is common with 2 main types: self-propelled or tractor-pulled harvesters. Florida, Oregon, and California are the leading producers of sweet corn, collectively harvesting 13.6 tons in 2022. Sweet corn is typically harvested when the kernels are still young and tender. The harvester cuts the portion of the stalk containing the ears, which is subsequently removed by either a harvesting machine or manually. In Florida, sweet corn cultivation spans over 37,000 acres, with a harvest season extending from October to June. However, the exact harvest timing varies among farmers due to differing elevation levels across the state. This influences planting schedules. In some states, hand harvesting remains the preferred method for sweet corn, as it allows for more precise selection of marketable ears. This harvesting method is often practiced in corn farms in Florida, California, and Georgia. Field sorting also reduces the need for culling at the packing house, ensuring a quicker transition to the cooling process. Harvested ears can be transported to packing facilities or packed directly in the field. The sugars and the tenderness of the kernels will begin to reduce once the corn cobs are off the stalk. So, to preserve quality, farmers rapidly cool harvested sweet corn to approximately 32 degrees Fahrenheit immediately after harvest. Hydrocooling, a method that utilizes water to maintain a cold temperature, is commonly employed. This ensures the product freshness for up to 2 weeks. While sweet corn accounts for only 1% of US corn acreage, popcorn reigns supreme as a popular crop. Corn used for popcorn looks skinnier than regular corn, characterized by a hard outer shell and a soft, moist center. Popcorn pops when heated to temperatures between 400 and 460 degrees Fahrenheit. the internal moisture transforms into steam, causing the kernel to expand. In factories, freshly popped popcorn is then seasoned to taste. Popcorn's popularity is undeniable, with over 232 million Americans indulging in this snack in 2020. This translates to approximately 14 billion quarts of popcorn popped and consumed annually. To meet up with this massive demand, popcorn is primarily harvested using combines. These powerful harvesters allow farmers to harvest corn both during the day and night. Equipped with a corn head, the combine strips the ears from the stalks. The ears are then fed into the machine, where the kernels are shelled from the cob and the cobs are ejected. The shelled kernels are then transported to storage bins, where forced air dries them to a moisture level of 14%, ideal for popping. In some cases, popcorn is harvested on the ear using a corn picker, which removes the ears without shelling the kernels. The corn then dries on the cob, and the kernels are subsequently removed. To ensure efficient popping, the kernels are grated to eliminate undersized ones. Nebraska was traditionally the top popcorn producing state, but Indiana outplanted it with over 97,000 acres in 2021. However, popcorn isn't a variety of corn. It belongs to the flint corn or Indian corn family, which comes in multiple colors, shades of red, blue, purple, yellow, and white. While sweet corn and flint corn have their distinct uses, what about the corn that forms the foundation of the Mexican delicacy, tortillas? Welcome to Iowa, the land of flour corn. This state produced 2.3 billion bushels of corn in 2020, about 16.1% of the total US production. Today, the United States is the largest corn producer globally, dedicating roughly 96 million acres to corn cultivation and exporting approximately 38% of the world's total corn exports. Prior to milling, harvested kernels are typically dried in silos to a moisture content of around 15%. These dried kernels undergo a cleaning and grading process, passing through screens and sieves to separate them by size and quality. Subsequently, the clean kernels are ground into a fine powder, using a series of rollers or mills. The resulting ground material is sifted to separate the flour from larger particles and bran. Finally, corn flour is packaged in bags to prevent contamination and maintain freshness. At this Korean corn snack factory, corn flour is steamed and pressed into a long, thin layer. Then a machine will cut it into strips, which are then fried in this auto-turning machine. The fried corn strips are then seasoned with syrups and cooled down for packaging. Corn flour is frequently used as a gluten-free alternative to wheat flour. So far, we've explored corn as a food source. But what about the corn that farmers will plant to produce future crops? That's where seed corn or field corn comes in. As the most widely cultivated corn type in the US, seed corn occupies approximately 90 million acres and is a familiar sight along the American roadways. Hand pickers can never come close to these combine harvesters because they can pass through 10 acres in an hour. This equals roughly around 300,000 ears per hour. The harvested corn is then transported to processing facilities to prepare for the upcoming planting season. One of the most common types of seed corn is dent corn, which gets its name from the dent or dimple that forms on the top of each kernel when it starts drying out. It is primarily used for livestock feed and cornmeal, a staple in southern US cuisine, often used when making grits and hush puppies. For livestock feed, farmers harvest the entire corn plant, including stalks, leaves, and ears. This task would take a lot of time if it was done by hand, so many US farmers only use huge harvesters that can chop down 20 rows of corn at a time. Then they ferment it in silos to create something called corn stalk silage. Corn farmers' income can also come from corn cob mix. Together, these nutritious feeds are valued at $61 a ton and provide essential vitamins and minerals for ruminants like cattle and sheep. Seed corn is also processed for corn oil production. Approximately 2.5 to 3 pounds of corn kernels are required to produce 1 litre of corn oil. The refined oil is filtered and packaged for distribution. Corn oil is an affordable source of healthy fats with high smoke point, meaning it can withstand high temperatures without breaking down or producing harmful components. Besides edible oil, seed corn is also used to produce ethanol, which is a gasoline additive, or as a standalone fuel source. This renewable energy source that reduces greenhouse gas emissions is one of the most significant products industrially produced from corn plants. For those seeking a unique alcoholic experience, corn whiskey, commonly known as bourbon or rye whiskey, is a popular option. The corn is ground into a mash and fermented to produce a fermented liquid. This liquid is then distilled to concentrate the alcohol content. The resulting distillate is aged in oak barrels to impart flavor and color. Bourbon is a popular choice for cocktails and enjoyed by many whiskey enthusiasts around the world.